What's up, Big Bob? I don't know. What's up, Ann?
I don't know, but we've got something really exciting going on in this session.
What do we got?
We've got a wonderful guest. It's Isaac Wambua, speaker, trainer, and coach. And I'm glad he's here because I think you need a trainer and coach for a lot of things in your life.
Wait, are you a line trainer? Because I'm a beast. Well, I'm teasing. First of all, we have to start on saying thank you very much for Brenda Ring, the founder of the Be the Best You Foundation, which makes all these things happen, and we're a big supporter of. And that's how we met, is through Be the Best You Foundation.
Exactly.
All right. Who are you?
Who am I? I'm not many things, just a few things.
Okay.
I am someone who is crazy passionate about just a few things. Number one, the main thing is I'm passionate about helping people when I can to become the best version of themselves.
Me too.
See, that's why we're getting
Yeah.
around. And it's two things that I do. Number one, I inspire people and I empower them. The inspiration is helping them to see who they can become, what they can do, what they can have, the best version of themselves. And then the empowerment piece is helping them to get the resources that they need to get there, crafting a path for them to get there.
See, it's a lot easier just to build the plan, but put the tools.
The tools are needed.
The tools have to
Okay,
be
I'm
part
going
of
to
it.
use your presence here to my advantage. Bear with me.
Is bear the optimum word here?
Do you help people? I'm sure you do, who perhaps have been pursuing a path for a long, long time and now are considering they have more to offer. Perhaps their skills can be translated in a different arena that they never thought about.
Yes, and it's interesting because just today I was crafting something about that, and it's about someone who has so much. And I dropped off my daughter at school down on 83rd and Metcalf today.
How old is she?
She is 3.5. Beautiful.
Wow.
She thinks she owns the
Do
world.
you have pictures?
I do.
All right.
I'll show you some.
Afterwards, I want
Of
to see
course,
pictures.
yeah, I do have pictures. And on my way back, I was asking myself, okay, what are the resources that I have? What do I have? You know, the experiences, the knowledge, the schooling, the mentorship that I've gone through. Then I figured I have so much. And then my thoughts took me back to a book that I read many years ago. It's called Acres of Diamonds. Acres of Diamonds. It's an old book. I think it's from 1930s or 40s. And it just talks about this guy.
Before my time.
You know, yeah, it was a long time ago.
At least something
And
is.
the premise of the book is about a guy who caught this the gold fever. He wanted to go and look for gold. So he sold his land and he left and went to look for gold for years and years. He didn't find the gold. He got depressed. He threw himself into a river and he drowned. And then someone bought the land. I mean, the guy who had bought the land, one day he was just sitting on his porch and he saw something shiny. And he looked at it and it was a small rock. So he took it to a specialist and said, "Can you tell me what this rock is?"
Diamond.
And it was diamond. And the land that the previous guy had sold had so much diamonds. So the lesson is there are diamonds in your backyard, acres of diamonds. And for me, it's all about the resources that we have, the experience, the skills. How can we package that and help the world? We can read another book, we can go to another seminar, we can go to another workshop, but what do we have right now that we can use?
Okay, well, clearly there's something in your life that defines who you are, got you to this place. What led you to this point in your life? What are the chapters that brought us to Isaac Wambua today?
Yes, I'll give you some kind of turning points. I grew up in Kenya. That's a small country in East Africa.
That's where everybody lives, a long distance runner.
Oh yeah, and I
Are
run
you a long
fast.
distance runner too?
I run especially when someone is coming after me. So
Predators.
I'm more of a sprinter, not long distance. But I grew up in Kenya. I was raised by a single mother, and they have 4 brothers and 2 sisters.
Where are you in the hierarchy?
I'm the 5th in the family. And my dad wasn't in our life when we were growing up. So he left when I was 9 years old. And being raised by my mother, being a single woman, she had never gone to school. She didn't know how to read or write, but she was the greatest motivator. She taught us the lessons, who we are supposed to become, to be content with what we have, to work hard, not to expect handouts, not to show even when you're hungry, because sometimes we go for days and days without food.
You did?
Oh yeah, literally.
Wow.
We did. But she said,
I got a tough time going for 6 hours without food.
hey, then I came to America and there's so much food. Now I have to work out to lose weight. Ridiculous. But my mother taught me all these lessons, and she's the one who set the foundation for me to become who I am today. to work hard, not to expect handouts, but beyond that, to see the good in other people. Because what happened, fast forward, after several years, my dad lost all his money, and my stepmom kicked him out, and he came back, and my mother took him back. He was sick, he was tired, he didn't have money, and my mother took him back. So I saw the aspect of
I
forgiveness.
got a question. Was that forgiveness, pity, love, obligation? Why didn't she take him back?
It was more of forgiveness.
That's a lot to forgive.
Yeah, it's a lot to forgive, but there was also an aspect of love for humanity. I don't think my mother really loved him at that point, but the guy, my dad, that's what I like to call him. He was diabetic. He was overweight. He had high blood pressure. He couldn't wear shoes because his feet was just breaking out, and yeah, so he was helpless. And my stepmom actually kicked him out, and he came back. And of course, us, we were not okay with that. But my mother said, "He's still your dad. The best thing that I can do right now is just to take care of him because he only has a few days left." So
Okay.
yeah, so that taught me the aspect of forgiveness, and it opened my eyes that to see that there's always good in someone else, and it doesn't always have to be about you. And then I was lucky enough to go to high school. I went to college, became an engineer, and
Where'd you go to college?
in Kenya too.
Okay.
That's where I did
What
my
kind of
bachelor's
engineer?
degree, industrial.
I'm sure you're aware of this. We all have to. We're all designated with a nature, nurture, whether we have good luck or bad luck in the choices we made. You're nurturing your mother, the village, that town, church, school that brought you around was spectacular, was
Thank you.
unbelievably great, because you would not had this chance to share if you're, as a young child, they didn't let you believe in yourself.
That's true. That's very true. It looking back, and you just said it very well. It's the nurturing itself, and especially in an environment where it wasn't a very friendly environment. In Africa, there's this belief that when you get married to someone, you're supposed to be with them until you die. And here you are, your husband has left, you have 7 kids by yourself. So basically, people made fun of us. They made fun of my mother. Even in school, they called us names. I usually express this growing up. I thought being short is a disability because I was reminded every single
You're
day.
sure?
Yeah. I'm 5'4", but in my head I'm 6'2", so it
There
doesn't
you
really
go.
matter.
You look 6'2" to me.
I know. I think it's the posture. So they reminded us every single day, whether it's the neighbors, the teachers, my classmates, and we felt not loved by anyone else. So the only person that I trusted was my mother. So when she told me that you need to stick in school, do well, and then she said, seasons come and seasons go. We are going through a very tough season, but it's going to come to an end. So that gave me hope that all these problems are not going to last. But something outstanding happened when I was in 5th grade. So my mother sat me down and she said, I look around people that are teachers, people that are police officers, people that have money. They're living a good life. They have a nice place to live. For us, it was an equivalent of 10 by 10. All of us lived there.
Wow.
When people talk about having a bed, we didn't
Half
have
the
a bed.
size?
Oh no, it was half the size of this. Really,
Oh, my.
like 10 by
All
10.
of you?
Those, all of us there. There was no bed. People talk about, my bed. Like, what are you talking about? there was no bed. We just slept on the floor. There was not even a blanket. Yeah, then there was no money. So like when going to bed was a nightmare. I'm like, okay, I can't wait for the sunrise because then it would be better out there. But being in that environment and having a mother who painted a picture of how a better life can be, that kept me going. But also when I got to 6th grade, actually in 5th grade, my mother sat me down and she said, people that have education usually have a better life. And she gave me examples of the people in our village. And then she said, you're really good in school, but you play too much. If you can stick in school and do well, you might be the person who's going to go to high school, is going to go to college, get a job, and maybe come back and save us from this environment. Those are the words she used. I was very young, but I got the message. And again, having a mother that cared about me and everyone else seemingly didn't care about us, it made me believe her that I need to stay in school, and that's what I did.
did you feel the burden, the responsibility at age 10 or 11 years old? I have to be successful to save my
Or
family.
did she say the same message to all of you?
Actually, it was just me.
So
It was
she
just
was,
me.
was she putting, did you feel like she was putting pressure on you?
I initially I felt yes, because again, doing well in school it meant I needed to be number one in class, which means I had to study.
Well,
But also
that's good.
And it is good, right? Because to give you some kind of perspective, my sister, I have two other sisters and two other brothers. My two sisters didn't do well in school. Okay, so when my dad left, it really affected them, so they just dropped out. So they didn't do very well. So and my mom saw that I was doing okay, so I felt a little bit of pressure. But when I look back, it was a privilege because she saw that in me.
Your mother is a superstar, not you.
Mhm.
Your mother is a superstar in the
She is.
story.
Yeah.
She's still
Mm.
around?
No, she passed last
Oh,
year.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry
Yeah,
for that.
yeah, thank you.
Because she is, look, I don't want to say she's a saint. She's the mother that every child should have.
I agree.
But every child can't have a mother like that. Even though every child deserves a mother like that,
Mm.
every child doesn't get a mother like that. And your mother was very, very special.
She was.
Did she ever come here?
Yeah, she came here to visit, and then she went back.
What was
You
her
didn't, you
name?
didn't make her sleep on the floor, did you?
Jemima. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. And actually, fast forward, I was able to go to high school and went to college. And talking about obligation, even when I was done with college, I got a job in Kenya, in Nairobi, with a telecommunications company, and I was getting paid good money. But I felt I needed to keep the promise that I gave my mom.
Absolutely.
And so what I did, I took my brothers through school, and of course took care of my mother. Now she didn't have to work in people's farms anymore. So they were living a good life. And then I got a chance to come to the US in 2007, January. And I worked so hard, 2, 3 jobs here, still going to college. And I put some money together and I built my mom a 3-bedroom home in Kenya.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Because I really wanted her to have a nice place to live. And so she enjoyed her life. And I'm glad that I got that chance to be
That's
able to give her a gift.
So this is a segue, a different conversation. I want to say thank you very much for moving to America. And let me
Thank you.
tell you why.
Mm.
I say it to almost every first generation person I meet. The American dream is the most amazing thing, one of the most amazing things in the history of mankind. But the American dream is anything is possible if you work and dedicate yourself. You don't get in trouble. You can make a better life for yourself, and you can make certainly a much, much better life for your children and your grandchildren. Most first generation people come here, they work their butt off. They work 2 jobs. They do whatever it takes because they didn't have much where they came from. And now they can have a car, a TV, air conditioning, right? Indoor plumbing.
Mhm.
All of it is
A
spectacular.
microwave.
A microwave.
That's huge.
Right. So your children grow up with an advantage. Maybe they get to go to college, and your grandchildren may be doctors and lawyers. And then the American dream dies. Because then they reach out their hand and say, where's mine for free?
And it's sad.
Where's mine for free?
Yeah.
And so the American dream is only alive
Mm.
with first and second generation immigrants. And it dies once you become assimilated to the culture.
Mhm.
I think the American dream dies a lot. And so I am very grateful for immigration,
Mm.
immigrants.
Mhm.
I just wish they'd come here legally. I mean,
Yeah.
that's my bitch
No,
about
it
it.
is.
All right? It is.
And that's a good point. It's the American dream, the opportunities, they are immense. And people think, yes, I went to college, I have 2 degrees, and I still study very, very much, but you can succeed even without academic education. There are so many opportunities. Right now I run a business and fairly successful, doing okay. I feed my family. But I usually say, even if my business goes down today, like really,
You get a
Go
job
to
tomorrow.
zero.
You go start something else.
that's the thing. I'll get a job tomorrow, and
Or you can start your own.
I will make 100,000
Right.
because I know how to run it. I'll work hard.
Right.
Work hard. There's so many
You'll work
companies.
15 hours a
Yeah,
week,
I would work hard and I'll make money.
15 hours a day.
Yeah,
Sorry.
a day. So I think to an extent, people are very lazy. Let me just say that. They just sit around and they're thinking, they're worried, and
Entitled.
That's the
yeah.
word. That's the word.
Yeah, there are so many opportunities in America, and I just wish people could open their eyes and see that it doesn't matter who you are, you can make something out of yourself if you work
Well,
hard.
I'm curious, what was the
Absolutely.
opportunity that brought you here, and where did you originally land? Was it here in Kansas City, or was it somewhere
Nobody
else?
comes to Kansas.
Yeah,
Some
I'll tell you,
do.
I did.
Ow,
I did.
ow, ow, ow.
You're always making me look like a doofus on this show.
It's not that hard.
No.
So anyway,
Yeah, the opportunity was when I was done with college. Like I said, I got a job and I was helping my family, but because we are so many and everyone was looking unto me to help them out, I mean, I was broke all the time. So I'd get a pay today, and then tomorrow I don't have money, and I wanted to
You
do
didn't
something
care.
for myself.
you didn't care. You eating fine.
And I was eating fine, but there was something in me I felt I could do more, and I never left the country. So I talked to a friend of mine who used to work for the government, and I said I'd like to explore opportunities, somewhere else. And we looked into, London, the UK, the
Right.
US, and he said, the US has more opportunities, and the place is more stable. So the guy helped me to research, talk to someone here in college.
I can't imagine somebody saying the United States more stable.
Oh yeah,
Right now, it's not doesn't seem very stable now.
yeah. It doesn't seem, but trust me, compared to other countries out there,
Yeah.
the perception is America still has very strong systems. The challenge, and I can speak from where I came from, is that it's all about it's survival for the fittest. There are systems which are not very functional. So right now you're running your own business. You can predict if you do marketing and sales and here and there you can make some money. But where I come from, most of the times it's about who do you know. So there's no predictability, and I struggle in that exactly. That's the bribing piece, lots of corruption. So I got a chance to come here to do my master's degree, and now talking about where I landed in Kansas City, Warrensburg, actually, Missouri, small town,
Central Missouri.
Central Missouri. That's where I went to college. Yeah, don't be surprised.
How do you go from Kenya to Warrensburg?
You know what? To be honest with you, I didn't know where I was going, and I didn't care.
It was like throwing a dart against
just
the
wanted to
map.
get here.
I just wanted to get out.
They're the only one who accepted you.
No.
You're good at the
It's
insults.
probably that's what happened. But I applied to two schools,
Yeah,
several
that's
schools,
nice.
and I was accepted to Fort Myers State in Florida.
Which one?
Fort
Myers?
Myers, yeah, Fort Myers, and then UCM, University of Central Missouri. And I looked at the tuition fee for both of them, and Fort Myers was 4 times more expensive than UCM.
Yeah.
And in my mind, I was like, America is America. I'm just gonna get on a plane and go. Now, one mistake I made, which I'm glad I made that mistake, I didn't do my research to check where Warrensburg is. My perception was in America, everything
doesn't
it doesn't matter, you know.
Get off the airplane.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
But the time you drive
Oh.
the 120 miles due east,
Yeah.
you go,
Where am I?
what happened?
Actually, this is what happened. I got to the airport around 8 p.m. and someone from college came and picked me up. It was wintertime, first off. I never seen
gosh.
snow in my life.
Very
It was
cold.
very cold in January, 1st of January, actually. That's when I landed here, New Year's. And then we drove to the college. It was at night, dark. Went to bed, and I had a roommate, a white guy, who was a buddy of mine. So then I woke up in the morning and I looked outside. There was a lot of snow. Then I saw cows walking around, and something that looked like a farm. And I was like, then I was like, well, where are we at? He said, no, we're in Warrensburg. Warrensburg, okay, where is this place? And he said, in Missouri. I said, that sounds like Swahili. Are we in America? And he said, yeah. Then I asked him, why do we have cows and farms? He said, of course we have cows and farms. Where do you think we get our meat from? And I almost got instant depression because I was like, oh my God, I was running away from the village and I just came to another
Came
village.
to a farm.
Yeah, because in my mind, I thought
Yeah.
in the US, it's
But you
all,
New
didn't
York
have Taco,
City.
it was like New York City.
but you didn't have Taco Bell in your village.
No, we didn't.
Or Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Oh, no, there was
or
not.
pizza.
Yeah, no, of course, I didn't know what pizza was, but but when I went to the library, it was nice. The classes were nice, and I was like, oh, now this is America.
Right.
So I was still worried a little bit, and I was like, maybe I need to move to another state. And then I came to Kansas City. Someone brought me to church, actually here in Lenexa, and I was like, yeah, this place is nice. So for about 4 or 5 years, I was like, I'm gonna move out of Kansas City. And then I warmed up to Kansas City. I loved it, and I'm glad that I stayed. It's a great place.
That's too bad for us. Anyways,
I know.
You're married, right?
Yes, I am.
Did you meet her
To
at college?
just one wife.
How many wives are you allowed to have a Ken?
I'm gonna have a 10 maybe. My great
I'm
grand.
moving.
No,
I'm
no,
moving.
Oh no.
No, that's
it
not
is-
something you can
Now
have.
it's not allowed anymore. But many years ago, my great grandpa had 40 wives. Just so you know.
40?
40 wives.
Yeah, 40.
You know, I can only handle 3.
They couldn't handle you.
No, they couldn't. Anyways, how long you been married?
5 years. It's gonna be 5 years in October this year.
So you met her after school.
Oh yes, way after school.
So tell me about your business.
My business, we do consulting, business consulting,
Who are your
speaking,
customers?
training. Our customers, small to medium-sized companies, we streamline their processes and systems, and are building a team.
Computers, communications. What do you streamline?
Actually, we streamline operations.
Okay.
So we look at their departments: marketing, sales, operations, or service delivery, customer service, admin, and then we document their standard operating procedures so that they can have a recipe for business.
All right.
Most of the people know how to do it, they just don't have it documented. So we document that. If it's a very small company, we might coach them a little bit on that, but we focus on just streamlining that, and I'm building a team. Actually, I have someone in my company who is in charge of that. And then the second piece is the training, which is about 60% of our business. And we train on management, leadership, communication, and everything is tied towards increasing productivity, efficiency, making money.
So I run a retail business.
Mhm.
There are thousands of books written about how to sell.
Mhm.
Not that many on how to manage.
Mhm.
And the only model that I have found that I love about how to manage is the military. I think our military does a great job of teaching people how to manage people.
Mhm.
Businesses don't do a great job of mentoring managers to manage.
I agree.
And your service, if you can convince them that to pay for it, is hitting a great void.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that. And it's something that I've known for a long time. So my first job right out of college, I was hired as an assistant production manager.
Right.
Now I was trained as an engineer, and they were hiring these management trainees. That's what they were calling them. And I hadn't had any leadership training, and they gave me 65 people to lead. That was in Kenya. So I failed. Within a week, I quit the job, and of course, I blamed the company. Went to another one,
Peter Principle.
and
You got promoted past something you do best.
Exactly. And then so I gave up on leadership after 2 jobs. Then I moved to America, and when I was at UCM, a company called Yum Brands, it's a huge conglomerate. They came there to recruit people, and they hired me again as an assistant manager to run Taco Bells and KFCs here in Kansas City. And again, I only had 18 people, and I struggled. First off, the language was different, the culture was different, and I didn't know how to communicate with people. So last year, when I was writing my book that I published in November, my mind took me back to my first job, and I asked myself, if I had someone who had mentored me or taught me how to lead after college, most likely I would have succeeded. And that's why I
They don't
decided.
teach that.
No, they don't. And that's why I decided to focus on the middle managers. Now we work with some executives, but we focus on supervisors, team leaders, managers, junior executives, on those 3 things: management, leadership, communication.
Do you have any customers I might have heard of?
Yes, a lot.
Give me one.
Okay. Collegiate Water, the conglomerate.
Collegiate.
Really?
Collegiate
Now,
Gamma clients.
they are a hardcore sales team.
Mhm.
I mean, we're talking knock on the door, knock them over the head, get them to buy, don't walk out with it without the ticket and check.
Mhm.
I mean, their salespeople are hardcore
Mhm.
professional salespeople.
Yeah.
How do you manage the managers?
Um,
You're not managing the salespeople, are you?
I'm actually the first time they hired me, I was hired to coach their sales team. The leader of the sales, and they're not hardcore. Trust me, right now they're good. They're professional, because it was all about managing the process, yes, but also at the same time, you want to bring what I call the flair of humanity, being able you connect with the people first before you ask for the sale.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
But my experience is they're like aluminum siding salespeople. They're not leaving without an invoice.
Yeah.
In my industry, we have one called Empire Flooring.
Mhm.
It's an in-house floor covering service,
Mhm.
and they are the all-time hardest salespeople.
Mhm.
They won't leave without an invoice, and they start at it's going to cost you $10,000. Okay, I'll sell it to you for 7. Okay, I'll sell it to you for 6. Okay, I'll sell it to you for 5. Okay, I'll sell it to you for 4. If they walked into my big box store, I would have sold it to them for $2,500. First time that was been my
You
price.
see, that's integrity, and I respect you for that.
Right. But Empire starts at 10,000 and sees how much they can get. My perception of water softening companies, water companies, are they start at the 10 and they come down as long as they have to come down to close the sale.
Yeah, it could be true, and I'm not an expert in that field, by the way. I can't speak,
Good.
speak on
I'd
that.
rather you.
Yeah, I deal with the people, and again, going back to the two things that I said.
I'm sorry, Gulligan's water.
you inspire the people to show them how can I become a better employee, a better manager, a better leader, and
Beautiful.
then you empower them with their tools. And most of the people, it doesn't matter which industry, they just act a certain way because they have never been
What
trained.
tools? What tools?
The tools.
I want to know about the tools.
The tools, communication tools.
Go ahead.
First off is your attitude. That's a tool that you use.
All right.
Okay. And the communication is not just the words that you use. It's about the approach, the timing, the tone that you're using, connecting with the people. And then there are specific tools for leaders, managers. How do you run your meetings? How do you do performance reviews? How do you hold people accountable? How do you counsel them? How do you coach them? And if it's not working, how do you help them to transition out? Which basically we call it firing them. But again, with a plan.
Have you transitioned a lot of
I'm
people in
thinking
your
of
life?
transitioning you.
but you gotta do it with a plan. So because there are people that will never succeed in your company because that's not their place, but they can succeed somewhere else. So as a leader, you want to help them to transition professionally somewhere else. Now, that's my perspective, and that's what I did when I did management for 12 years.
Right.
Because again, going back to the nurturing piece, I
That's a
care
tough
about
job.
people, even
That's
when
a tough job.
it is a tough job. But again, talking about the tools, when someone is trained the right way, you never surprise people. They'll see it coming for them to be transitioned out. But if you don't speak up, if you don't talk to them, and then one day you say, "Hey, Ann, you're out," then that's unfair to them too.
Did you ever find people who say, "Well, I know more than he does. What can he teach me? I'm smarter. I'm more successful."
Oh, I hear that all the time.
Right.
Oh,
So
yeah.
how do you overcome that?
Right.
Actually, I don't need to.
You don't
I don't
need
need to. I don't need to overcome that because you cannot convince people to do what they don't want to do. They either have to be ready, or you have to create an environment for them to be ready. Now, people like those, from a general perspective, they should have ego, and ego comes from insecurity because they're afraid that they have this little knowledge and they're holding on to it. They're talking about the good old days in the 60s, 70s. So when they say I know more than him, okay, no, I'm not.
They're old if they're talking about the 60s and 70s.
No.
They're older than me.
Yeah. So they're holding on to this theme. And from a coaching perspective, when someone says that, it doesn't scare me because my job is just to help them to be comfortable, to know that I'm not there to challenge their knowledge, but also to supplement what they know. So most of the times, if they give me even 10 minutes, I'm able to get them to talk and we get along. But so when someone says, I know more than you, of course, go like, oh, I believe you, you know more than me. So can you share with me your experience? People like to tell their stories.
Yeah, don't
Right.
get him to talk. We'll be here all day.
And he has a beautiful story and a powerful one. And he has built a big business. So at least it's not a made up story. It's a
Right.
real one.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
And I don't embellish or
Not at
exaggerate.
all. I didn't ghostwrite a book for you with anything amplified in it.
Ann wrote my book.
Yeah, she told me. And she's a great writer.
Right. She
Yeah.
told you that too?
No, he just assumed that because you hired me to do it.
And
so-
I've known about Anne for a while, only that we've never met. Your name has come up so many
Would
times.
you like to have your life story written?
Yeah.
Hire Ann to do
Okay,
it. She will do a spectacular
You're
job.
hired, Anne.
Right.
But I have a question
Let
for
me
you.
negotiate the price for you.
Yeah, please.
Okay.
Stay out of my business affairs.
You negotiate lower, not higher.
Right, of
Okay.
course.
Stay out.
Mhm.
I want to get back to the family dynamics because it's so interesting to me the way you grew up and living way over there in Kenya. Did you bring any of your siblings with you? Have they followed you, or how have what you've done here in America changed the dynamics of your family and the relationships therein?
Yeah, so I tried to bring my brother here, but
They just want the money.
yeah, yeah, actually, that's part of it. Trust me. So I tried to bring my younger brother, our last born, but he didn't get a visa. You know, it all depends. So he didn't get a visa, and he decided to stay home, got married. Everyone else, they were already married when I came here, so they wanted just to stay there. And again, I've been lucky enough to support them to be economically strong and be good to go. So they have their businesses and their jobs, and they're okay.
No knock,
Mm.
no disrespect meant on your village or Kenya or that part of the world. Are we living in paradise?
Oh yeah, what are you talking about? More than a paradise.
And people don't realize how good
I
it
think
is
we
here.
take it for granted, or
Absolutely.
we're fed lies by the media.
Too much for granted. Oh, and it's not about comparing, but I have a perspective because I grew up here.
Do a compare, because most of the people who are going to listen to this,
Mhm.
born in America,
Live in a bubble.
live in a bubble wrap, listen to the news
Mhm.
And
about
complain about it.
all the how ugly America is, how greedy the upper class is, and how poor the poor are, and how many homeless problems we have, and they don't understand the rest of the world is a lot worse off.
Yeah, through your lens, how
Mhm.
would you see it?
Yeah.
Yeah, the first off is infrastructure. We have strong infrastructure in America, but also the culture. In America, there is a culture of there are two extreme cultures. There are people that really, really work hard and they just go after the things that they want, no matter what. And there's another extreme of people that they specialize in complaining and whining about things, and
PhD
and they're very good
everybody.
at that.
We have a
too,
lot of those here.
you
Yes,
know.
we do.
But there are also people in the middle that they try to bring the two groups together. People that are very, very modest.
Is there a democracy?
There's an illusion of a democracy. Let me just say that. It's a democratic government. But
Are
again,
there two parties?
I feel no, more than that.
You're dovetailing off our
Yeah.
last show.
Yeah, there are more than 10 parties there. So basically, they do a lot of collisions whereby, you start your own party, you can do that, and you get together with the N and you form a coalition and you run for president or something.
Right.
So the political scene and the environment is a little bit messed up. It can use a little bit of structuring.
Right.
And that's what I'm saying. In America, it doesn't matter how much people say it's messed up. There are some issues, but we're still way ahead of most of the people. But what if we look for the good in what we have? And one of them is security. Okay. Now I know there are some insecure places, but I know if I'm in my house and we go to bed with my wife and the kids, then the really chances of someone breaking in and doing all kinds of stuff, they're almost zero, right? Actually, I was in Overland Park a few months ago, and I was going to a major
Is it
building.
Here or there?
Where?
Do you feel safe?
Here. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
In
yeah.
America, you feel safe.
Oh, very safe.
In Kenya, you go to sleep at night, you didn't feel so safe.
Oh no, forget about sleeping. Even when you're walking around, you gotta be on alert. Someone can snatch your cell phone or they mug you. Broad daylight. It's not even at night. When you're walking, right? If you look like you have money, because I had a little bit of money before I came here. I was working for a telecommunications company, and I didn't have my own car, but I would get picked up and get dropped off at night because I was getting off at 10 p.m.
Right.
So where I used to live, it was a gated community, right? But again, before we get there, I had to call my brother and then say, hey, can you get ready to open the gate? Because we just need to come in. Otherwise, if we stop there waiting for the gate,
Someone could come up.
oh yeah, someone can come up and shoot you.
Would they come up to you if you were 6'4"?
But yeah, they'll still come.
So what's the story about Overland Park? You were talking about you.
No, I was talking about how secure America is. I was in Overland Park and I parked my car
Yeah.
going into a building.
Safe here.
Yeah, he likes to interrupt, but
Safe here.
rightfully, it's his show. He can interrupt.
Wait, this is called the Big Bob Podcast.
This
I
show,
know,
wait a
exactly.
minute.
Right.
Yeah,
You're just a guest in my home.
I know.
What's up,
That's
Ann
why
and Big
that's
Bob?
that's
Yeah,
why
Ann
I'm
and
being
Big
that's
Bob.
why I'm
Say
being
thank you.
that's why I'm being humble. Yeah, thank you. Yes, sir. But the point is, I left my trunk, the trunk of my car open, and my laptop was there accidentally. And I went to a building. I was there for 2 hours. Came outside, and I was like, "Wow, my trunk is open, and the laptop was."
You're
Oh,
kidding
jeez.
me.
Yeah. And
Now
then
you were lucky.
and in my mind was like, okay, if it was somewhere else, probably it would have gone, right? But the point is, it's not 100% safe, but America is way safer than most of the places. It depends on where
Rest
you
of the
live,
Mhm.
but again, there's also a matter of choice. Okay, if you work hard and you make a little bit of money, you can move from. Because I used to live in a small apartment, really low income apartment when I came here because I couldn't afford a lot of money. I didn't have a lot of money, but you can work hard and move to a decent apartment, then buy a house and do all kinds of stuff. It might take a while, but it's possible. You can see a path for growth. That's the difference between America and any other place.
I lived in a 6-bedroom house by myself
Wow.
for 18 months, no heat, no hot water, in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And the reason I was living by myself is no one else would live there.
With
Oh.
you or just nobody could live there?
Right? I was a football coach,
Mm.
and the assistant head coach thought he'd buy this inner city house for the urban athletes,
Mm.
that they'd love to be there. It was
Mm.
walking distance stadium. Nobody would live there because it's a piece of crap.
Mm.
But I couldn't afford to live anywhere else, so I got to live there free.
Mm.
No heat, no hot water, 18 months.
So I'm curious how you survived, especially wintertime.
I went to sleep with my sweatpants on and
Mm.
all my extra clothes on top of the blankets.
That's still more privileged than a lot of people.
I understand that. And when I talk about my handicaps and my suffering as a child, I never bring that up because I've never thought of it as suffering or a handicap.
Mhm.
It was just what it was.
Yeah.
I was young. I didn't know any better.
Yeah, and I think it's the thing of until someone points it out, you never know.
Right.
And honestly, growing up,
You wouldn't have known how bad you had it unless you came here.
Yeah.
You just
Yeah.
had it the same way everybody
Right.
else did.
yeah, everyone was struggling, and
Right.
until people honestly, until people said you guys are poor or you are not good enough, I never thought about those things because 99% of the kids didn't have shoes like me. They didn't have resources.
You had shoes.
Oh no, I didn't have shoes. No, actually, I
When
did
did you get your first pair of shoes?
when I was going to high school.
When you went to high school?
Yeah. Because it was mandatory for us to have shoes.
You know,
No,
if you were-
seriously, it was
Isaac,
it was a tough thing.
if you were a good long distance runner, you'd had shoes earlier.
Probably, actually, yes, probably. But you know what? Looking back, to be honest with you, it was meant to be. And people ask me, if you had to look back, what would you change on your path? And I tell them nothing. I wouldn't change anything. You know, growing up in the village, not having a father around, being made fun of, it made me who I am. And you know, my dad passed when I was 17, and I never used to tell you about a story about him, and until maybe probably 8 years ago. And whenever I tell a story about my dad, people ask me, "So are you still mad at him, or do you feel sad?" Go like, "No, I'm glad actually he left." And if my dad was alive today, I would have walked up to him and said, "Thank you for leaving." Because
Right.
first off, I make tons of money telling stories about him.
Right.
It's true, but again, it also molded me to be who I am today. And to me, that's a perspective. I cannot dwell in the past and try to be mad at him or my stepmom or anyone else. It was
Right.
meant to be, and I'm lucky enough to be here and building
It's
a
your
life.
journey.
Yeah,
I admire you tremendously. You were here, and your life was going to go here. This is the path that was laid out for you from the day you were born. Your mother changed your path to like this. You changed your path to like this. Between you and your mother, the decisions you made to change the course of your life,
thank you. I appreciate that.
magnificent.
Thank you.
Magnificent. You've done it all by yourself. It's not like there were a whole team of people making it happen for you. Greatly admire your success. I think it's spectacular.
Thank you.
What happens next?
That's what I was going to ask. You have so many opportunities here. What do you want
what
to
does
do
the next
next?
10 years look like?
Next 10 years, I'm going to continue helping people. I think I'm about to step into a new chapter.
Right.
I've been doing this business training, speaking. It's going to be mostly speaking. And coming to think of it, and this just something that I got into a few days ago. I want to help people to minimize their suffering and worry. And it's not any scientific discovery or
No.
anything.
No,
Yeah,
I have part of the answer for that.
yes.
You have an answer for everything.
I do.
He does.
That's what,
Doesn't mean
He
it's
does.
always
I want to hear
right.
your answer first,
Yeah.
and then I'll give
No,
you my
no.
answer.
For me, I want to get out there and speak more and show people what's possible. It's not about, yes, I want to tell my story, but it's not about me. To show them that it's possible. It doesn't matter where you start. But number two, also, people struggle because they don't know how to express themselves and what they want. I don't speak the best English in the world.
Sponsorship for kids'
I guess
education.
we're editing now. Talk
Yes,
about your sponsorship for your education for
okay.
your kids over there.
yes, I will. Okay. So a lot of people struggle because they have something in their minds, a dream or something that they want to do or something that they want, but they shy away from expressing that. I've been blessed enough to know how to ask for the things that I want. It doesn't matter whether someone understands me or not. So I want to help people to minimize their suffering by learning how to say what they want, when they want it, so long as they are professional, they are respectful. So there's a little bit of that,
Right.
just a small slice of helping people to get there. So again, it's just to continue helping people. I want to spread that message. That's why I'm building a business, potentially to a point where I don't have to be there. Right? Now, talking about the village where I grew up, I got a chance to go to Kenya in 2021, to the village where I grew up. I had not been there for more than 15 years.
Wow.
Actually 17 years. And I went to the village. I visited the school that I went to, each of the classes, and I all the emotions came back. The ones that I had a good experience, the ones that I didn't. But what I did when I went there, I took some school supplies, just a few, to two of the schools. One school is the one that I went to, another one close to our home. And we gave them school supplies, and then food and a few gifts. And when on my way back, I asked myself, what is it that I can do to make a bigger impact? Because we gave the school supplies, then what? And what I came up with is a way to sponsor kids in Kenya. See, there are still so many kids in the village that go to bed without food. They don't have clothes to wear. They walk without shoes. They come from poor families. Some of them are orphans. And I've decided to help those kids. So personally, my wife and I, we are sponsoring 13 kids. 2 of them are in high school. The others are in primary school. And just about 3 months ago, I got a 501c3, a nonprofit, to get people to sponsor kids there. So that's what we are doing.
How much does it cost to sponsor a kid, and what do you get? What do they get?
To sponsor a kid actually is $300 a year in primary school.
And
$20.
what do you get for $300?
They get a pair of shoes. They get 2 pairs of shorts and 2 pairs of shirts.
All right. The uniform.
The uniform, yeah. They get the whole uniform. They get fed in school all year. So even if they come
One
home
or
from
2 meals.
1 meal and a snack.
All right.
Okay, so lunch and a snack, and then they get school supplies, pens, books, everything. Actually, that's what they get. So that's in primary school. In high school, it's a little bit more. It's 1,000, and I know because I've been paying for the 2 kids in high school. But here's my.
What's
Yes.
the organization?
It's called Shule Fund.
Speaking to the.
The-
We someday we're going to have 1,000 people, maybe more, watching this, and I
Yes.
want all of them to understand where they can send the money.
Okay, so it's called Shule Fund, and Shule is SHULE Fund, and Shule is Swahili for school. So basically, it's school fund.
Okay.
So Swahili wanted to make it kind of relevant. So Shule Fund is a school fund for school, and the goal is actually this coming year to sponsor 50 kids. I
Wow.
want to start small.
That's only 50 times 300.
300.
15
That's
15,000.
15,000.
Man, write them a check.
Well, where's your checkbook?
Yeah, so we want to do that, and I believe that's going to help you make a difference. So let me just share with you in my mind how it's going to be. It's about breaking the poverty cycle. I did the same thing for my family. Now my family doesn't have to worry about anything because of my mother. But what I'm thinking is that when we sponsor these kids in primary school, it's 8 years, then 4 years in high school. So when you sponsor these kids, within 12 years, they would have had enough knowledge, and then we are going to talk to the Kenyan government to get them student loans so they can go to college. And within 10 to 15 years, they will be able to break the poverty cycles in the village. And that's my dream.
That's awesome.
I think that's fantastic.
Thank you.
But by the way,
Mhm.
I've spoken about doing the same thing in the United States. The United States has a problem with the have and have-nots. We're missing a middle class. And I think rebuilding the middle class is what fixes America. You have no middle class.
Oh, no.
It's almost, you got a couple of wealthy people, I'm sure,
Mhm.
and then it's all poverty.
Yeah.
We have a lot of wealthy people, and our middle class is considered very wealthy, and our poor are considered okay.
Mhm.
But the answer is education. And whether it's training someone to be not a doctor, lawyer, accountant,
Mhm.
how about a plumber, electrician, a carpenter, IT, something that they can make money at a trade
Mhm.
that services their community. I think too many lawyers are bad. Yeah, you might need more doctors, but you certainly don't need that many more attorneys or architects What you need is working class, middle class. And so,
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And again, going back to the 10-year plan, we're going to start with sponsoring the kids. Then we are going to drill wells in the village so they can have water. Because again, sometimes they got
water is important.
Yep, that's going to be important. Then after that, we'll build a library. Then we'll start building technical schools in the village. So that's probably 10 to 15 years. Yeah.
Yep, I like it.
Yeah,
like
and all those are going to be named after my
Oh.
mother.
God, you are delicate.
Fragile, not delicate.
He speaks English, so he knows
Yes.
it's fragile.
I was just patting you on the back. I think it's good what you're
Oh,
thinking, and
oh, thank
it's
you.
good collaborative effort,
Yeah,
and it's very
thanks.
interesting. So, if people wanted to go online and find your organization, could they find it? Have you set up a website
So
for
the,
your
the
foundation?
website is being set up.
Okay.
Landing page should be able to go up in about a week. Yeah, but we already have a Facebook page. And that's not going to make a big difference, but we have a Facebook page on Schule Fund. But if you want to reach out to me, Isaac Wambua.
How do you spell it again?
Isaac,
Or
ISAAC, that's Isaac, and then Wambua is WAMBUA.
And then Shule is
SHULE
okay.
Fund.
What's your home phone number?
No. He's just used to giving his out to a bunch of women.
Yeah, they can go online and find us. So,
Yeah, of course. Your wife wouldn't mind.
you know.
Well, we're just so pleased to learn all about you.
No,
and
thank you for the opportunity to be here, share a little bit about my story and the opportunities that I have to get out there and make a
I think
difference.
it's very inspirational.
Mhm.
Thank you.
And by the way,
Mhm.
please, no offense. You're nothing special.
Oh, I know.
You're nothing
I
special,
know.
but you did it. And that
Mhm.
makes you special.
Mm.
You did it.
Yep.
The strength of your own willpower, the help of your mother, you did it. You broke through the barrier that had prevented so many people from being successful. On sheer determination and willpower, you did it.
Thank you.
That means anybody can do it.
Anyone can do it.
I
Anyone
love
can
it.
do it.
I'll be the best, you brother.
Thank you, Big Bob. Thank you.
Thank you.
Till next time.
See you later.
See ya.
Big Bob,
And I'm Ann.
what's up?